the Semaphore Music Festival Podcast. Today's the day. This festival starts today, so why not speak to one more amazing artist before we kick off and head on out over to the Semaphore. I'm your host, Adam Simon, and today I have an incredible indie pop artist who's been making waves with her unique sound and captivating performances. Think Kate Bush, thinks that she's Australian. Her blend of heartfelt lyrics and infectious melodies has earned her a loyal fan base, and we're excited to see her perform at this weekend's Semaphore Music Festival. Please welcome the talented My Chérie. Thanks for joining us today.
Hello, thank you so much. I love a good little talk up. Feels good for the ego. You know?
We sell it to you afterwards for $49.95 plus GST, so it's all good. So, My Chérie, it's great to have you with us here. Thanks for your time today. For those who may not know your story, how did you first get started in music? What drew you to become a musician?
That's a great question. I think I don't really remember ever not being a musician. I was one of those kids that come from musical parents, and I grew up in South Africa as a church kid, so I was kind of like singing and playing the tambourine on stage from a pretty young age, and then I just grew up and I did music in high school, at uni, and then after uni I've continued. It's just been kind of this thing that I've never really felt like it's a choice. Like I've just always loved music since as long as I can remember, really. Yeah.
You say music was around you and from a musical family. What type of music do you remember being around the household and your parents listening to?
This comes up a lot because people often laugh at me because I just, when people are like, oh, that song, or that band, and I just feel like I often don't get any of the references of like pretty popular kind of bands. I think I grew up with like very niche music, like Afrikaans artists. Like there's this person called Chris Chameleon, and he was from like a little Afrikaans TV show, and as a kid I was just like cranking that. And a lot of like Christian spiritual music and stuff. So my parents also listened to like the Bee Gees and a couple of other bands, but I think I kind of found my own specific kind of delving into what I would listen to as a teenager, and that was fun.
Yeah.
Discovering more.
Does that now play a role in when you go to create music, especially do you draw on your childhood, obviously growing up in South Africa, but also especially drawing influences from the native Afrikaan culture?
Yeah, I think like sometimes it'll be just in a very subtle way, and then sometimes a bit more obvious that I'm maybe not from here. I think, definitely elements of it and the kind of, spiritual upbringing and stuff, like I bring that into the sets. And I think it's good when like a lot of people just listen to like one person, love them so much, and then you kind of start getting that influence like in a really obvious way, and you start to sound like them. So I do appreciate that I've kind of listened to a lot of random stuff and then have kind of created my own unique blend, I would say. So it's been
how
fun.
would you describe that unique blend of music? How would you describe your music for someone who's never heard you before?
I've had a couple of good little comments that people have made that have stuck with me that I might say. There was someone said it was like Kate Bush and Nirvana. And I really like that combination because it's kind of like, I think the vocals, very ethereal, ambient, kind of Florence and the Machine, Aurora, that kind of world, but then also with a lot of like electric guitar going into, that indie rock kind of sound. So like a blend of indie pop, alt pop, and indie rock, I would say.
Fantastic. So, and that's ever more present in, say, your current single, your latest single, Darkness and Gold. What inspired the lyrics and the sound for that song? Where did that inspiration come from?
Thank you. That one was produced by my beautiful friend Mario Spate, who's worked with a lot of people. And I think, yeah, we definitely entered like a ethereal world. It's quite, we used a lot of instrumentation and stuff that I don't use in my live performances. So I would say it's quite different to what's currently happening in the live thing, which is so fun. But yeah, we just were in the studio and it took that song took a while to kind of show itself to us. Like yeah, um, a lot of kind of going back into the studio and adding more and it kind of developing into the crazy kind of world that it is.
Your validations. I like being impressive, I'll address it. I dress up, make up, I'm messy, I mess up. I crave clean character. I'm okay to admit it. I wanna heal, I won't resist it. I'm persistent in my search for better. Sometimes I fall and fail, but it don't matter.
Is that something which, some songwriters are personal songwriters and personal performers, and some draw on world events, and some just have a series or a thought for a song. Do you inject much of your personal thoughts and insights and feelings and emotion into your music when it comes time to create something new?
Yeah, I think like the lyrics for that one, I think over the years I've kind of talked a lot about kind of self-love, self-positivity, things like that, and I've realized that because that's been like a really big journey with me, and I think um what I've been trying to do in my recent songwriting is to be even more like real about where it's coming from, because I feel like because of personal experiences I've had to kind of almost sing in a lot of like metaphors and things like that, and I'm kind of been challenging myself to like be even more really like specific and real. So that'll be happening in more the upcoming releases. But yeah, definitely like everything that I've ever written, I'm not very good, I think, at kind of doing the thing where you like write about someone else's life experience.
Mm.
Like it all comes from very deep within myself. And sometimes it's taking an instrument and just literally needing to like heal in that moment. And sometimes it's a reflection on something. But yeah, it's usually from a very personal experience.
But I think we can tell sometimes, can't we, when someone is writing a song or recording a song from their own personal perspective or experience as opposed to a funny idea they had or a phrase or something like that. You can
Mm.
tell the difference, can't you? Is that personal investment, and not only in the recording side of things, but when you perform live as well. And I want to shine a spotlight on that for a little bit, because you have these amazing photos of you performing live on stage and on your Facebook page and so on. How do you get yourself ready for that live performance? Do you have a process, or is it just walk on stage, plug the guitar in, and away we go?
Um, I think it sometimes depends. Like I've kind of when I've had a big show, sometimes I put, I don't want to say pressure, but it's just like you care about it so much that I can't stop thinking about it and visualizing it and all of that. And then sometimes I've almost been too exhausted, or like I don't even know what the wording is, but just kind of I've tried to also just um not think about it as much and then just be in the moment. So I've kind of gone through a journey of different like mental states going into a show because
Mm.
of caring so much. But yeah, it depends. Like if the venue has a green room and a nice space, I love the idea of, stretching, doing some yoga, listening to artists that inspire, maybe, that kind of getting into that state of being that I want to reflect on stage. And then sometimes the environment just doesn't allow for it and you just have to like click into the moment. And I feel like that happens pretty easily as well.
Mm.
Yeah.
And is that the point where Does it take you long to really get that sense of what the audience is like, or you can connect with them quite quickly?
I think I'd probably say that my strong point would be to be able to connect pretty quickly. I think um, I don't know, when I have the opportunity to perform, and sometimes it's like the opportunity almost like if there's more people, I just get more and more like fed on it rather than getting more nervous. Like I just it feels like, okay, this is what I was meant to do. Cool, thank you for allowing me to have the opportunity, and then I just do my thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, artists, like, you can read the room and then adjust to it. And sometimes it's like a tricky one of like, if the environment's very chill and you're like, oh, do we just really go for it? But as an artist, you have kind of the power to actually create the atmosphere of the room.
Mm.
So it's just like allowing yourself to do your thing. And then I think people start giving you their energy, and then you can kind of feed off of that energy, and it's this beautiful conversation that ends up happening. But it takes that like courage and decision and stuff from the artist to make the audience comfortable, I think.
But I think your music also lends itself to that engagement or that interaction with the artist, because from the very get go of listening to it recently to get ready for our chat, it draws you in very quickly, and it sucks you in. It almost engulfs you as a listener very quickly. And I think in the live sense, that would be even more enhanced. So I think your music is perfect for that audience invitation to become part of the experience and so on. And I think that's a very important thing as a young artist to understand what it is to have that experience, don't you? Otherwise you just get up on stage and it's thank you, good night. The audience doesn't have any interaction, whereas your music is fantastic. That ethereal sound draws you in from the very get-go. So I think we're in for a very special experience at Semaphore. Let's have a chat. You're at the Semaphore Music Festival on, where are we? Monday, 7th of October, and you're going to be at the Semaphore Foreshore Reserve, and you're on there at 1:30 p.m. along with Born on a Monday Choir, Axton the Ivory, Nancy Bates, Kelly Manhattan, and the Audreys. This is the 20th anniversary of the Semaphore Music Festival. Have you performed at the festival before?
I haven't actually.
Okay, and what's it mean to be part of a festival like this? Such a strong thing, 20 years anniversary of this great festival, but it's also a very strong representation of the music community in South Australia. What's it mean for you as an artist to be invited to perform here?
Yeah, 20 years is a long time. So that is like such an honor to be a part of something that's, quite big, and, like, the lineup as well. It's, when you're on the same lineup as other artists that have been doing it. There's like the Audreys, for instance. I've heard really great things about them, so I'm excited to watch them play. Very excited. I've kind of have been wanting to play things like this for a bit, and feels an honor is a good word, I think.
Do you get a chance to be the fan as well when you get to perform at these festivals? Do you get to do your set and then duck out and see other artists while you're there?
Yeah, I really enjoy live music, and it feels kind of like a waste to not soak it all up. So yeah, I'm playing at 1:30, and then I'll definitely hang around. And my band is really good as well. I feel we played a show, like a festival, the other day, and I loved kind of walking into the room and seeing them all dancing at the front, and I thought that was beautiful, very aligned values. Like, I think supporting other artists in the way that you'd want to be supported is really good.
And so for those attending the Semaphore Music Festival this weekend, what can they look forward to as part of your set? Any secrets or surprises in store?
Well, I mean, I guess if you've never seen us, then all of it might be a bit of a surprise in a way. But yeah, if you've seen us before, I feel like, with my music, with the band as well, we all kind of draw from each other, and there's like lots of moments of improvisation, because I'm not one of those people that can kind of play the song the exact same way each time. I just get understimulated. So yeah, there should be something for everyone. There should be some nice, calming, soul-filling moments, some dancey moments, and then some guitar shredding, good vibes, and energy. Yeah.
A full experience, as we say. So I want
Yeah.
to ask, as a young independent artist, how do you manage I suppose, how do you balance the creative side of things, of say making music and creating performances, against say the business side of managing your career?
Yeah, I think it's an ongoing kind of learning way of life. Like, I know everyone kind of does it differently. I've heard of someone recently kind of switching off the music side for like 3 months and then doing music 3 months. And I just, yeah, I think sometimes when it's like too much in the business side, you can kind of forget, like, you can realize I haven't written a song in a while. So it's not always easy, but I try and have, like, I've got regular days in the studio so that I'm kind of scheduled in, forced to try and like make sure that, because time just can go by so quickly. So it's like really good to have almost a schedule to make sure you keep being creative, and not just doing the other stuff. But it's also like, you want your music to be heard. So there is a lot that artists have to do at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
because you've got
it's,
to create music, write, record, rehearse, video clips, and then it's a whole nother job, isn't it, to do social media and promotion and all the different platforms, and then get your music on streaming platforms and engage with fans. It's a
yeah.
multifaceted thing, and it's very much could be at least one, if not more than two full-time jobs for an artist. So it's a great challenge, I'm sure, to be able to balance that, as well as the important thing is to keep your passion alive, isn't it? Because if you lose that passion for your music because the business takes over, it would be a great shame, because we've heard some great music to start with, and we want to hear what's coming next. So what is coming next, My Chérie? We have more singles and album coming together. What's your plan, say, for the rest of the year and into 2025?
Yeah, I am working very hard on getting the next kind of thing finished. It'll be a collection of songs, so an EP, and hoping to have that out in the world next year. It's kind of one of those things where good art takes time, but that is the plan. I've released a few singles this year, but yeah, I've got these songs that are very, very special to me. So just doing all the behind the scenes stuff. But yeah, continuing to release good music, and hoping to just, perform and just show the world this thing that I'm very passionate about. So yeah.
We get that, as we said, we're going to definitely see and hear you perform at the Semaphore Music Festival, Monday, 7th of October, at the Semaphore Foreshore Reserve at 1:30 p.m. We can't wait to see you there. Last question before I let you go, and thank you for your time today, but last question. What's it feel like to be My Chérie when you're on stage?
What does it feel like?
Yeah. Happy, nervous, joyful, elated? What's it feel like?
It feels like it's the most otherworldly part of myself, like the magical part of me that doesn't worry about all the little human things that we stress about, and it feels like it is the part of me that doesn't people please, and that just can be completely myself and then encourage other people by being myself. And it feels just right and calming. Really filling.
Perfect answer, filling. Well, hopefully you get that feel this weekend. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you so much for sharing your journey, your insights. Can't wait to see you perform this weekend at Semaphore. For our listeners, be sure to catch My Chérie live over the October long weekend, and keep an eye out for her next releases by following her on Spotify, all the streaming platforms, social medias. She engages fantastically with her fans, and we want to continue to support this amazing artist. So thanks for tuning in, everyone, to the Semaphore Music Festival podcast. We'll see you this weekend live at the Semaphore Music Festival. My Chérie, thank you very much. Have a fantastic festival.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Adam. Bye, everyone.